Hi, my name's Hannah. I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who really loves makeup, and here on my channel I like to show you my favourite products, my favourite looks, tell you about offers and anything really that I think you might be interested in. So today I'm talking about Trinny London, and I will be doing a full face of Trinny London. Trinny makeup has been my gateway into my makeup obsession and brought me here today, because when I saw the videos that she kept putting out with demonstrations and tutorials for all of her new products, I just had to give it a go because it looks so easy. So I bought a few pots and then a few more pots, and I started following all the tutorials, and that's where the obsession began. And then I moved on to trying all sorts of other brands. But I do still love Trinny makeup, and I'd like to revisit it today and show you some of my favourites. Quick disclaimer here. The makeup is probably about 18 months old at the moment, so I'm not sure if it's recommended you use it at this point, but what I think is worth noting is that it's still working and it has lasted this time, even though they're cream products, which is something I'm quite impressed with. Apart from the foundation and the concealer, which I'll be using, and also my primer, these are all new products because I've had to replace them because I use them so regularly. So starting with the BFF Skin Perfector Cream, I use this as a primer. It's also got SPF 30, but I've already got SPF 50 on because you probably couldn't get enough cover from this alone. And what this does is it corrects your skin and primes it, which is excellent. I've got a bit of redness today, here on, well, everywhere actually, but especially around the nose and sort of chin area. So you'll probably be able to see as I apply this how much it does correct. It has a lovely smell if you're familiar with Trinny products. Very similar to her skincare line. It's very lightweight, and as it blends in, even though it's white, it does add a little bit of colour to match a sort of skin colour. The shade I'm wearing is light. Just give it time to work into my skin. And you always notice your skin just looks better. This is a good product if you don't want to wear any makeup at all, but you just want to have a little bit more even skin tone. And I'll pop some onto my neck as well. This is an area where I do have an awful lot of redness at the moment. And there, can you see how the redness has just calmed down generally? And everything looks a bit more even. And it hasn't gone, but it's certainly improved. It's very comfortable, and this is really nice to wear under makeup. I've used it under all sorts of foundations, not just the Trinny one, and it really does work well. So now I'm going in with the foundation, and this is the Trinny London BFF All Day Foundation, and my shade is Imy, I-M-Y. Well, it's not actually my shade, and when I did a foundation test for this, people did pick up on that and say how it looked a bit yellow or a bit too dark on me. The reason I bought Imy is I do like to match my tan in the summer. So I bought it for that reason, and I don't have another shade, so I'm going to use this today. And when it goes on, it does look a little bit yellow, but watch towards the end of the video and you'll see how it does settle down, and it really does look fine. I'm very happy with it. I think this is the perfect shade for me when I'm a bit darker with tan. So I'm going to put it down to my neck so that it all looks a bit cohesive. I'll put one pump onto the back of my hand, and I'm going to use my beauty sponge to apply this. This goes a long way. If you see now, I haven't used the whole pump, I've just used a little dab. How much of it's gone on my face. You'll see straight away how it does look way too dark for me. But just bear with me, because it does look fine by the end of the look. Trust the process. This has a similar smell, again, to the primer that I used. The Trinny London Skincare, which I really like. It's just a very fresh, I don't know, comforting smell. I really enjoy it. But obviously if you don't like scented, then that's an issue. I'm not sure if this actually causes problems with the scent for anybody. If it does with you, I'd like to know below. That would be very useful. And then I'm going to take it down my neck so that it all matches up. I've only done one side of the face properly at the moment. Now I'm going to need one more pump on the back of my hand. I'll just show you actually what the consistency is like. So it's not a runny consistency. You see how just a few dabs of this spreads out so easily and so quickly. It's particularly easy with a sponge, this one. And it gives good coverage as well. My neck has got a lot of redness and a lot of marks. I've just done one half of my neck. You see the difference between this side and this side? There we go. So it's good for putting on the neck regardless of whether you need to match your colour, just because it evens things out even more if you've got anything that needs evening out like I do. And another pump. And keep in mind that my sponge is absorbing quite a lot and I'm putting it in a large area of my neck, which is why I'm taking it up to 3 pumps. But for the face, 1 pump is actually enough. It's this area here which is taking up the extra. That's the whole of my neck done now. And see how it's just a lot more even. It will be a little bit red just from me pressing on it, but it does calm down. It certainly looks a lot more even, doesn't it? Just finish off the face now. So see the redness around my nose here that did improve but hasn't gone. See how this literally gets rid of it instantly, look. And it's not clinging to any dry skin areas. I have a bit of dry skin at the moment around the nose because I've been using Tretinoin. And this, as you can see, is brilliant. There's a little bit left on the back of my hand, so maybe 2.5 pumps was enough for my neck and face, which isn't bad at all really, considering I used a sponge. This really does go a very long way. You could apply it with your hands or with a brush. I just like it with a sponge. I think it gives a lovely application. I don't have any of the Trinny brushes, so I won't be using those today. I have got this Beauty Pie brush, which is actually their bronze and contour brush, but this has become a go-to for me for so many different things. So I'll be using the tip of this to get into the Trinny pots. And the first pot I'm using is a contour colour called Kate. This is very dark, so you have to be really careful with this. So I take the small end of this brush and then I'm going to put it here above the hollow of the cheek, not below. And then I'm going to use my BK Beauty 109, and it blends in very easily. So even though it's very dark and a bit alarming at first, you see how quickly it just blends in. Yeah. Very easy. It's just a subtle contour. Obviously you could go a lot heavier if you wanted to. With my skin colour, I don't think I should. And then taking it below the jawline. I know on Trinny's video she always used her fingers, and that's what a lot of the Trinny fans like to use. But over the last year I've really started using brushes a lot more for a bit more accuracy. Obviously that's personal choice, because you can put these things on very quickly with fingers. If you're looking to just do a very quick look, then a finger application is absolutely fine, because these products blend so quickly. And then the last place is the nose, and I'm going to be using this brush, which is actually from e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is their nose contour brush. Really good brush actually, I only just picked this up last week. I'm going to use the thicker end, I think, and then take it here and here, and then work it down, put it into this part here so it blends in the top, from the top of the eyebrow down the nose, and avoid the centre of the nose, and just take it down so it blends. This brush is really good for that actually. Into the tip, a little bit of definition, not too much. And then again with the same brush, a little bit under the lip, which gives your lip a bit more of a full effect. Just a tiny bit, you don't need much. And now I'm going in with Gaia, which is a cream bronzer. You'll see this is a very well loved bronzer because it's nearly all gone. And I'm going to go in again with this. I would never use this tip to apply bronzer, it's just to get inside these pots. I'm just going to put dots in the places that I want the bronzer. And because I've gone up a colour and my foundation has given me a lot of colour, I don't really need to do a lot of bronzer. If I was wearing a lighter foundation, I'd probably do quite a lot more. But this will blend out a lot, so I can be quite generous in how much I put on. And then just blend it out. You can see here, it's just, that's it, just blended. It's so easy. I think that's something that everyone loves about Trinny products, is they're so easy. Just straight in. They are quite sheer though. It's worth noting that if you want depth of colour, you will need to keep going in and applying more. And obviously with your fingers you might get a bit more colour because my brush might be absorbing a little bit. To be fair, the brushes I'm using don't tend to. A bit more on the cheeks. A little dab across the nose. It's a bit natural. The way the sun hits the face is where the bronzer has gone. I'm now going in with a Trinny concealer. This is their BFF Serum Concealer. And mine is in the shade Maisie. And it has this metal tip here which is very cooling. I wouldn't use this to actually apply the product. You can see here how it comes out. Sorry about the mess there. But it is nice to just rub under the eye for that cooling effect. And I know some people like to keep theirs in the fridge. Just popping it in all the places that I like to have concealer. Just pop a little bit here just because I want to have a bit of colour definition rather than conceal in these areas. A little bit underneath where the contour went, so it can help to sort of emphasise the contour. In the areas I want a bit more brightness. This is very light, being a serum concealer, so you can be quite generous with it. And it blends in very easily. It doesn't give very strong coverage, which you'll see now as it blends in. I'm just doing this with a metal tip so I can enjoy the coolness underneath my eye. And I'm going to use this brush today. This is the Fillimilli 811. This is a new discovery as well, and this has just got the most amazing tip on it for getting into the corner of the eye. One thing I've noticed with this concealer is that it's got a bit of a chemical smell, and if I get it into my eyes it does sting. So I do need to be a bit careful with application, especially in this area here, to be precise and not let it go inside my eye. It's worth noting that if you have problems. You'll see here what the coverage is like because I need to cover the veins here on my eye, and it's not completely going, so it's very light coverage. Very comfortable though. You see how it just vanished into my skin, literally, and it does give it a bit of brightness as well. I'll just tap in all the other areas. And now I'm just going to go in with a sponge just to make sure there's no excess product, especially in this area, so I don't want it settling into lines. One product I didn't see on the Trinny London website last time I ordered, I don't know if they've got any now, is powder. But I will be going in with some powder because I do need to set beneath the eyes and my T-zone. Today I'm using the Givenchy Prism Libre powder in the rose colour. I'll just put a bit into the case. I'm using on a powder puff, tapping off on my wrist so it's not too heavy, and then just powdering here. I don't really want to do all my eye because I will be using the cream products on my eye. Just going into the T-zone. And certainly this foundation I don't think needs powdering. It seems to last really well, the longevity on this I'm really impressed with. So just the T-zone seems to be enough. I do use a setting spray at the end, which obviously helps with longevity, but I don't powder all over the face with this, which is nice. I do sometimes powder the neck though, because otherwise I find it feels a bit sticky. And I don't like that feeling. So I might just do that quickly now. Using my BK 105, just quickly powder the neck area. It's hard to talk when you're doing that. See now how the redness has really calmed down and the skin is even. I hope you can see now as well that the foundation colour works, because I think it does. Obviously if you compare it with my hands, it's not working. But just look here. In the summer my hands would have a tan on and it would match. I need to get a different shade in this foundation to match my winter colour. So that's enough powdering for me. Many foundations I use, I do need to powder all over the face, so it's quite good that I don't need to with this, because I think it just gives you a bit more of a glow, it looks more natural. And next I'm going to go in with a blush. This is the lip to cheek, so it can be used on lips and cheeks, which I like for a cohesive look. And this shade is called Freddie. This is one of my favourite cheek shades from the brand. Using the same brush again to get it out, and I'm going to put, and this looks very dark in the pot, but it will literally disappear on the face, so you can be very generous with this. You see what I mean now, it just blends in very quickly, and I've also noticed that after about 10 minutes it disappears even more, so you can put it on very strong initially. In fact, I would recommend you did. If I leave it at that now, it looks fine, but if I wait 20 minutes, 10 minutes, the colour will have faded even more. In fact, I'll leave it like that so you can see what I mean. I'm going to put more on at the end, that might be better. It's quite a natural flush, doesn't it? And again, I don't think they do lip liners, so I'm just going to use my Estee Lauder Double Wear Lip Liner here. This is in the shade 04 Rose, one of my favourites. I think it matches my lip colour to give a natural edge. And then, using my finger, I can put some of the Freddie on my lips. Very easy to apply. It's like using a pot of lip balm really. And it feels quite moisturising, but I do know that it does dry out on the lips if you don't add something else on the top. It feels nice at first though. So to make sure it doesn't dry out, I'm going to go in with a sheer shimmer, and this is Bunny. Again, this is my favourite of all of the shimmer shades. It doesn't really add much colour, it has got a little bit of a sparkle in it. You can see that. If you can see, it's a very small sparkle, but it does add that bit of moisture, a little bit of shine. So that's the lips done. I'm matching the cheeks, so easy. And then I'm going to go in with Starlight, which is the highlighter. Again, using this, and put it on the tops of my cheeks. See, I think the blusher is already starting to go down a bit. Anyway, I'll leave it until the end and then we can reassess. But I bet you I need to put some more on. So this highlighter does not emphasise lines. It's a really, really kind to your skin, if you have mature skin, highlighter. It gives you that bit of light without emphasising texture or lines, which is brilliant. Take it up here a little bit down the nose, tiny bit above the lip to emphasise the Cupid's bow. It's a lovely shine, isn't it? And now moving on to the eyes. Today I put together this stack. I've gone through all my colours and chosen these. I do have a few favourites, so I haven't got them all here. I'm hoping this will be a nice lineup. I'll be starting with Justice. This gives a nice base colour. And I'm going to be using my Merit No. 2 brush, which is very good for creams. It has this fine tip on the end for lining or fine detail, and then this one for application. And again, I know that Trinny likes to use her finger for this. I'm breaking the Trinny rules, I'm afraid, because this is how I like to apply it. You can't really see this much, it's just for the first base wash of colour. And then take it over the whole lid. And what it does do is cover up those veins that I was worried about. I'm taking it out here to the outer V, and then I'll just do the other eye. So that's how that looks. Can't really see much, but it is giving me a nice base and a good coverage. My next chosen colour is called Lovers. Here we go. I'm going to be using this in the outer V. This looks very strong, but as with all of these creams, they just blend out so much that they're not overpowering at all. And take it across the crease a bit, not all the way. Taking the finer tip, running it underneath for a bit of a more cohesive look. And now I just do the same on the other side, and that's blended out now. You can see it's really not a very dark colour at all. I'm going for quite a natural look today, so I don't want anything too smoky or too deep. And then probably my favourite part of this is adding the metallic shade. This is Eyetallic in Aurora. These pots have a little spongy tip. Now this is 18 months and it hasn't dried out, which is fantastic. It is a little bit like flaky though, so I need to be careful. I'll just show you. Beautiful colour, isn't it? I'm going to put this all over the lid with my finger. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? One of my favourite colours to use on my eyes. So you can just keep building this up and get more and more payoff. I'm going to go in with my Sonia G Blender Pro to make sure that this is blended up nicely. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I love that colour. I'll just do the other side. And then my last colour is Emperor. I'm going to use this as an eyeliner. So I'm going in with my favourite eyeliner brush. This is called a Sickle eyeliner brush, number E865, and the brand is Eigshow, I think. E-I-G-S-H-O-W. Never heard of them, but I found this on Amazon and it's an amazing brush. I'm going to use this just to line across here. I think that's enough. I don't like to take it into the corner of the eye because that does tend to close the eye off a bit, especially with more mature eyes. And using the fine tip here, I'm going to go back into Aurora to go underneath this dark, just to try and match. I need to be a bit careful because I don't want to get it in my eye. And then I'm going to use Starlight, the highlighter again, and using my BK Beauty 207 brush, I'm just going to use this to pop in the inner corner and go slightly out towards the nose to brighten this area. And also run it underneath the eyebrow. I just go off camera to do my mascara because I don't have a Trinny mascara. And that's the final look. Do you see what I mean about how the blusher seems to have sunk into my skin a bit? I think it does anyway, so I will be adding a little bit more because I like to see the blush more than that. tiny pop on the nose as well. And then blend it out. This will look a bit bold now, but again it will calm down, so for me this will last a lot longer doing it this way. The colour will be visible for much longer, because one of the problems I had with Trinny makeup is that I couldn't get it to last on my face because it's cream and it just vanishes. But if you put quite a lot of colour on and you have your skin primed and you use a setting spray, I find it does seem to work. So I'm going to go in with my Urban Decay All Nighter Extra Glow, which I've been enjoying a lot lately, and put quite a lot of this on to set it in place. I'll just cover over my mascara. Let this dry down. And that's the final look. I'm really impressed that these products have lasted 18 months and they're still working this well. I've really enjoyed applying them. I think now I'm using brushes, I think the application for me personally is better. I just think it looks much better. But this topper shade on my eyes, the metallic, that is the star of the show for me. I really do enjoy these metallics. Just want to quickly show you before I go. This one's called Minerva, and this is the other one that I really like. And this one feels a lot harder, so maybe this one hasn't got as much life left in it. I'll just show you what this one looks like. See? It's quite a subtle shimmer, but they're really pretty. I'd really like these. And this one here is Harmonia. And this one is more of a red. It's got more of red in it. It is pretty. And I couldn't go without showing you my favourite, which wouldn't have gone with this look, but I just wanted to show you. This is a cream and it's called Moon. I'll just show you on the back of my hand. You can see why I love it, because I love sparklies. In fact, these three together would make a nice look, wouldn't they? Except they're all shimmers. But yeah, I love Moon. So you could have Moon as a base and then add one of these. Maybe my next look. Sorry, I've just noticed putting that away. It's not called Moon, it's called Star. There is one called Moon which has a very similar shade to it, but it's a bit darker, more of a deeper grey. I also have that one. Anyway, so that's the final look. I think the blusher is just right now, and with the setting spray on, it's given it a real glow, hasn't it? The setting spray should keep it going all day. And this was my stack. It's a bit of a mega stack, isn't it? But I do like to play with lots of different colours. Obviously you could just have one eye colour, you don't need to have four like I did. That's my stack. And this foundation has been a real find for me this year because I've really enjoyed using it, and I think you can see now that the colour does work quite well. Again, as we said earlier, it doesn't match my hands, but when I have a tan it would. So if you ignore my hands, I like this shade. And that's it from me today. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe below because it really helps my channel, and I'll see you for my next video. Bye!